Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
For any initial questions around kind of introductory things, skill sets, questions let's do 1 or 2 questions right now as we kind of jump in.
Okay, great. What if I have no idea what my skills are? I have thought about it a lot, and I cannot come up with any ideas for a cash machine. I'm an office manager and afraid to go it alone, in quotes, go it alone with my own business.
Great question. So first of all of you, and it's coming up on a few slides, so we'll jump ahead just a little, but there is 1,000 different ideas on a handout that you can print out listed up on our password area of our reading room. Or not our password area, but our link is privately out there for the reading room participants. Now, first of all, you're thinking alone, which is such a great question because it does lead us to shrinking thoughts versus expanding thoughts. Again, I can tell by your question you haven't even been trained to think expansively and creatively about what's possible around your money. See, every one of you has a skill set. In fact, you were born with skill sets. You just don't know how to activate them that way because you've looked at it as an occupation. I'm going to go get a job. So here's what I'm going to say about being an office manager. You are the consummate manager in what entrepreneurs need. So the frame, though, is that you need to do it for one person. So what I would do if I was you is be extremely efficient about what you're currently doing in your current office manager job. And then I would start documenting your systems of how do you create, if you would randomly, and here's how I want your head to think about it, and this would be on your expanding thoughts section of this next slide. I want you to think, if this was my business and I was hired to come in and put an office together in a systematic way that I could then hire my replacement, what would my manual look like? And while you're in your current job, at night, morning, lunch, you're creating a systematic manual for the current office, so you're not kind of ripping off your current employer, right? Because you're going to deliver them this manual too. This is how you run your office, and you custom design it for that office. Behind the scenes, you're doing one that's more generic. And I truly think you have $1 million idea. I think you have $1 million skill set. I'm giving you the idea. I'll change that out. You have the skill set. I have the idea. You're going to take that and you're going to go to entrepreneurial groups and say, I want to come in, you entrepreneurs who create a lot of paper and have no idea how to systemize your office. And I'm going to systematically organize your office. As your office manager, I'm going to hire my replacement, and then I'll come back monthly and track it. I mean, there is not one idea that any of you during these 8 weeks or skill set that you say, I don't have a skill set or I don't have an idea, that I'm not going to create $1 million idea for you because I know, I just see it. And I see offices across the country. I see entrepreneurs because they're in my mentoring program. They're dying and struggling to find office managers. I mean, what a great idea. If you can have account temps out in the world to be your accounting temps, why can't you have office manager temps and have them come in? So some idea like that. Don, while I'm on there, I'm going to actually go through this next slide because what was very clear in that question was what I call the shrinking thoughts. And what I see that happens all the time is that most people are conditioned around having very shrinking, small thinking, and I'm on page 3 of the introduction, around their money, meaning I have to, get good grades, just go get a job, and they only see themselves as that's the only way to earn money. I know so many people like massage therapists, physical, personal trainers, teachers who just don't see psychologists, where you're in a very structured way that the world has seen it. And I just challenge the model. I don't think the model works. I looked at the coaching model when I first came into coaching, and I said, you know what? One by one's too slow. You can't change the world that slow. There's a way to impact a greater volume through group programs, through small group teleseminars. Psychologists. I have all sorts of psychologists doing that, building programs. So the difference, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to actually, when you get the printout of this presentation, I want you, or you can just do this on your own notepad, I want you for the whole week, this is homework for the week, to write down all of the shrinking thoughts or the small thoughts of, I shouldn't do my latte today. I'm having a hard time finding my assistant. I'm too tired to get up. We're going to get on an exercise program, because being too tired is a function of also your health. I mean, There is just all sorts of things that I want you to identify and track. If you've done it before, I don't care. I want you to do it again. I want you to track all of your shrinking thoughts, limited thoughts that you are having during your week. And then I want you to start thinking about how many times a new creative, expansive thought comes in. Because for me to do the best work with you, I need you to be in a creative, expansive place. I can't have you keep coming back week after week after week. Like by week 4 or 5, any limited thinking questions should be out of our space. And that's thousands of you changing the way you think about money and think about the ability to create a cash machine. The only way that you're going to get there by week 4 with us is you got to work on it week by week. You can't just say, oh, that was an interesting activity, and not do anything about it. You need to track it. And then here's what you do is as you come up with the shrinking thoughts, each of those, so say you had 8 shrinking thoughts this week, I want you to change them into expansive thoughts. So I want you to take the, I'm so far in debt, I just don't see a way out. I want you to change that to, I'm going to create new money, and that is my way out. I'm creating new money. You're going to say that to yourself 100 times a day. So you're going to change those shrinking thoughts into new positive, expansive, revenue-producing thoughts. And we're going to loop back to this as homework next week and make sure you're actually getting those negative shrinking thoughts out of our space and your life. Okay? So, Don, I'll do one more question because we can do a few. Do you have another question out there?
Yes. I don't have any extra money. I'm working on a full-time W-2 job. I have a family with no time. How can I do this?
Oh, you're so simple. And that's the other thing. I need you all to say this is simple, simple, simple. Of course, you are probably like 90% of the people that are on this phone call. No, I don't actually know. No, I'd say 70 because Live Out Loud attracts a lot of entrepreneurial thinking people. So first of all, you said the key words, I don't have time. You need your life supported. If you have a spouse, a significant other, you have children, you need life support. Again, not the kind that's going to resuscitate you, but you need support of your life. You need to stop cleaning your house, doing your groceries, running errands. Like somebody has got to come in and fix this for you and take some of that off your plate to give you time back. I call it a $400 solution. You have to go out and get somebody who's going to replace that, all that extra stuff you do to give you some time back in your life. So now you have some time to focus. Yeah, you're going to go to a job. Probably the majority of people on this call is going to do it. And you're going to give the job what they give you. You're going to stop giving 80 hours away if they pay you for 40, or go renegotiate for more money. I mean, that is one, short-term solution for a lot of you. Negotiate for some performance bonuses. Negotiate for a way to get more money. So you can do this. Your first step is you got to get some time and life support back. You've got to get your significant other on your side to do this. So you're going to future finance. So yeah, you might spend $300-400 a month on some new support in the household, but that's going to give you the time. And with a lot of certainty through this program, you're going to make up that $400-500 you're spending on life support. I think by $2,000-4,000, and within 2 to 3 months, that person that took over just a little bit of your activities is probably going to take over the majority of all of that busy work that you're doing. That gives you that time back. And if I'll give you one other solution for all of you out here that has that issue, is for those of you who do have it, I'm going to say traveling, like sales, marketing kinds of jobs, consulting jobs, those are tough because outside of the time you spend in airports. And believe me, I did that before, and it's exhausting. It does take a lot of your time. But while you're in the airports, while you're waiting, while you're on the planes, work on your cash machine. It is your time. Work on your cash machine if it is your time and you're flying in mornings, nights, or weekends. And there are some of you who are just going to need to get a partner. So find somebody who wants to partner on this venture with you and get it moving that way. Okay? So as we move through the introduction and into Chapter 1, I want to go through a few more of the slides as we get into some of the people that identify in Chapter 1 and see who you're most like. So on the next slide, I say you cannot save your way to double-digit growth. And that really is a slide I put in because, I love the saying. It was Fred Ozen, who's one of my great partners in many businesses that we purchased together and run together. He actually came up with that quote because it's back to the slide before, shrinking thoughts. You cannot even have the word savings in your vocabulary. In fact, savings and budgets are like diets. I'd eliminate them. We should write Webster and say, these need to be eliminated from the dictionary of the world because they're just horrible words. You're not going to save your way to double-digit growth. You're not going to save your way to financial freedom. It's not possible. I can't scream that enough. I've been screaming it since I wrote the Millionaire Maker book, nearly 2 years ago. You will not save your way, scrimp and pinch and not have your latte to multi-million-dollar status or even to financial freedom. Freedom is about being at choice. So if you can't even be at choice about having a $3 latte, you still don't have the right formula. Financial freedom, independence is totally 100% about creating something new in your life, and it's creating a cash machine that will create new money. Now, let's get into chapter 1. The first 3 people I talk about, and I want you to identify yourself, very similar to The Millionaire Maker. And if you haven't read The Millionaire Maker, we have a great 2-book special for the first 2 books that we're going to give you towards the end of the call, because I need you to go get those 2 books, because I'm going to refer to The Millionaire Maker quite frequently. If you haven't read it, it's going to be some background that you're going to need. I want you to identify with somebody in The Millionaire Maker. And for here in the Cash Machine, I want you to identify with either Marilyn, Al, or Rosa. Now, Marilyn is what I call consummate W-2, old thinking, shrinking thinking, trapped, only sees paycheck to paycheck, scared to death to risk anything. And I said, well, I mean, in her situation, like I tell most of you, if you're in that situation, you have nothing to risk. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. The little bit that you might have, the way you got it was exhausting. It wasn't the right way you got any money anyway, because you probably worked way too hard for it. Probably sitting in some savings or CD account making 2%. I mean, it's not the right thing anyway. So let's just go for it. And if there's a part of you that doesn't trust yourself around this process, then that's different. That's a psychological, way that you grew up issue. Nobody says it's really psychological. It's a behavioral issue. It's the way you were conditioned growing up with your parents and everyone else around you. That's very fixable. Believe me, I fixed it. Was farm girl from Nebraska. Was raised with you had to work hard, work hard, work hard. God, I was so sick of that conversation. You had to work hard, work hard, work hard. No, you don't. You have to work smart, and you got to work with a lot of people. Al Cypress, that kind of person, had a sports psychology, no team, small. Basically what Al did, he was the technician who quit his job, became his own business, but then created his own big job, where day to day to day, all of his energy, all of his time goes back to the business. He's not charging enough money, so just can't get ahead. Like any of you that have already created cash machines that are somewhere in that $60,000 to $120,000 range, you're an Al Cypress. Now, some of you might be at $250,000 in an Al Cypress. Like, you just can't move it to the next level. You're stuck. And boy, do we have solutions for you. It's called the additive marketing and sales ideas. It's called team. Easy to move that out. Rosa's sort of like kind of the baby boomers of the world, right? Has some assets, has a little equity in her home, has some investments in the market, a little IRA. In this situation, she was a widow, scared, she'd be at the mercy of some fixed income that her financial planner had had tons of lazy assets, wanted to give at this point in her life, a little older. So there's some of you that, you just can't go do that big dream because there's just not enough money. So the answer to all 3 of these people, and I want you to identify, are you more like a Maryland and is stuck in a job and is paycheck to paycheck? You more like an Al, where you've already done some ventures, you've already started out there, but you just can't get it moving? Or you more like a Rosa, where you've tried many things, you're probably back in a job, but you kind of have, what a lot of people have, maybe $100,000 that are there and available, but still, it's not enough. The answer to all of them is a cash machine. It is create new money. Now, what the traditionalists and all of the other financial books are going to say, well, we need to really create more fixed income with those assets. Fixed income? Are you kidding? Let's create some cash flow. And what they're going to say is you need to reduce your life. Are you kidding? Who wants to reduce their life? Like, I don't know that there's any of you out on the call that is going to be excited about reducing your life. Like, that's horrible advice. That's a plan for poverty. We're only about planning for prosperity and success and excitement and having teams. I mean, can you imagine having teams all over the country, whatever country you're in, or all over the world, where wherever you go, you could visit somebody who's a wealth builder like you? Like, that is what happens at Live Out Loud. It totally happens all the time. Now, as you go to the next slide, build it, buy it, fix it, partner to it is page 8, 9, and actually a lot of this next part of the chapter, we actually go through page 15 on this, is there is not one of you out there that cannot build it, buy it, fix it, or partner to it. So you say, well, how do I decide what to do? Well, those of you who are truly entrepreneurial and love these creative new ideas, you're going to want to build. And you're probably going to bootstrap like I did, where you're going to start from nothing and just build it from scratch. Now, some of you that are more managerial, like you've already been in a corporation, you have a lot of manager experience, or like running a system that's already set. Buy it might be the way to do it. And as we get into our time together over the next 8 weeks, I'm going to introduce you to a team that are franchise experts, and maybe you want to look at exploring a franchise. You can license. We actually have a few ideas or opportunities that live out loud. You can be a wealth diva, wealth dude. You can teach our work, the Millionaire Maker Game. We're going to be launching at the beginning of September through Barnes & Noble stores. We're looking for facilitators and people to license our work into groups across the country. You might want to fix it. So in that situation, you would buy something, or you currently have built it, but you want to fix it. And the reason I put that in, and I think that's so critical, is like I had a company that there were a couple who owned a company, 29-year company, flooring company. And they said, well, we just, we're tired of it. We don't want to do it anymore. And I said, no, you've already built it. You need to fix it to make it more profitable for you and actually make it a generational business, meaning if you can pull $20,000, $30,000 out of this business every month by fixing it and putting in some good management teams, why would you ever sell it when for the rest of your life you could put $20,000, $30,000 in your pocket and live very well? So we're going to fix it. So some of you out there, we're going to fix your machine. Partner to it means more of you technicians in the world, you analysts, where you just don't see yourself building or buying, you don't have anything to fix. You could come in and partner. You could come in and be part of the fix-it solution to somebody who's built something. I need you to think that everything is possible. There is a place for you in this world called getting a cash machine. So as you move to the next slide, cash machine action plan, and that moves us to page 16 of the first chapter. Here's kind of how we're going to get through it in the next 8 weeks. We're going to discover the skill sets you have. We're going to generate an idea based on that, and that actually is going to get done in our first 2 weeks, no later. We have got to get your skill sets identified, and I need you to do that this week. And no later than next week, we need a business idea for you to work on, because my commitment absolutely is for you to make money during this 8 weeks. So this is now week 1. I want you to write on here, get your skill sets identified. Model company. While you're out looking for the idea, find your model company. Do not reinvent the wheel. We are the only people who have ever said, do not reinvent the wheel. It is not competition. It's called collaboration. Partner with people who have already done what you are wanting to do. You want to test the sales potential through revenue modeling. So what I don't want you to do is go out and spend a whole bunch of marketing dollars, get a website, get a brochure, get a DVD, get all this sexy stuff, and not know that your idea sells. Go see that the marketplace wants it, and you may have to tweak it first and then lay it down and say, this is what I'm going to do. Like you may go out on a tutoring company, or you may go out on an engineering consulting business, or you may go out on a web design company, or whatever venture you're going to do as your cash machine, and the world gives you feedback, and you've got to listen. You cannot be so attached. I was at the Cash Machine Workshop just recently in Chicago, and I will never forget this guy. He actually does revenue modeling, but he was very attached to a different word and a different way that he did it, and it was his way. I said, well, that's great, but you know what? Those words don't mean anything. Like there's not a book written about it. There's not enough marketing in the world about understanding those words. Those words don't mean something to people. Like I can't resonate. And what you do is actually what I need, but I can't have you call it that. I have to have you call it revenue modeling for a cash machine. Would not change those words, and none of our people would buy it because they didn't understand what he was trying to do, even though I think he has a fabulous business. So do not get so attached to the thing you do that you're not willing to change it when the marketplace says, I need something different. Okay, design the cash machine plan, which is going to be very simple. We're going to give you some models and templates for that. Don't worry about the plan. Super simple. In fact, for those of you who are, got to address it though, that need to do a little more planning, up on the link of our site, Building, Leading, Protecting Your Business is our business plan product. It's 4 CDs and a workbook. It's on a deep discount just for you. It's $89. It's normally $199. Go buy that product and get it done. That way you know that you had a plan. And if that's holding you up, that'll get that handled for you. You got to get the team, but your team is based on your plan. Do not get a team just to get a team. You want the team specifically designed to run your plan. And then we got marketing and sales, and believe me, we are going to do a lot of marketing and sales in this by about week 4, 5, 6, and on out to 8. We will be marketing, selling, additive, team, because those are the variables that will make these cash machines really move. Now, as you go to the next slide, I want you to all go print this one. In fact, Dawn, will you make sure on the site that this is an independent, freestanding form, because I want everyone to pull down this cash machine makeover. I need you to call our office. And, Dawn, the number that we want people to give, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 8777-GET-LOL, GETLOL. Call our office or email strategy@liveoutloud.com. Get your makeover, even if it's very brief and simple, because you won't have a lot yet. But I want you to win a makeover. During our 8 weeks, I'm going to select everybody who registers, and the only way you can register to be part of the makeover selection, I'm only going to do 3 during our 8 weeks. I'm going to bring you live on the call, and we're going to work on your cash machines. We're going to work on doing a full makeover during our 8 weeks. But the only way you get selected is you have to talk to a strategist. So you need to go back to the office that you talked to. You need to email strategy@liveoutloud.com if you don't have a strategist, or call 8777-GET-LOL. Ask for your strategist, get routed to them, and talk to them about getting enrolled on the for having the makeover. We're going to give you about 2 weeks to do that, and at the end of next week, then I'm going to start picking my makeover people and bringing you live to the call. And it's a pretty simple form. Your baseline is where you are. Your freedom day is what you want. We're going to be doing a makeover in the middle. We're going to be working on the business model, your marketing ideas, your sales ideas, and the team. So we'll be actually giving you a lot of your plan right here on the call. So again, we're giving away 3 formal makeovers happening here in the 8 weeks on our call. The only way to qualify to be a part of who's going to get picked is to talk to your strategist. Okay? So as we move on through our chapters, we talk about our 7-week plan. Now, we're going to do 8 weeks because we got a lot to do. But in our 8 weeks together, I expect you to make money. Now, some of you still out there might be cynical and saying, why would Loral do this? Like, why is she spending 8 weeks with us? So let me just get really candid. Number one, I love to teach. I'm really good at it. I know how to apply this because I lived it, breathed it. I know the emotions you're going to go through when you have to get up early in the morning to do your cash machine stuff and you're tired and exhausted from your typical job. You've got kid pressures. You have other financial pressures, which I want you to eliminate now. Do not allow any financial pressure. This is all about creating new money and having fun. I need you to be in that psychological state. So why would I do this? Why would I spend this much time with all of you out on a call? Well, first of all, there's over 4,000 of you who raised your hand and said, I'm interested in this and I want to apply the book. So right there was an enormous response from all of you out there all over the world who say, I want to learn how to make new money in my life. I mean, I see this as an enormous opportunity for us collectively to really change how people think about money and how they experience money. I'm absolutely committed because what I also know about, say, marketing and sales, and you guys will learn this about me and you'll start doing it too, is you have to give to get. So what I mean by that is you can't just expect people to show up and always buy your thing. So part of what I'm going to be doing in this call and through you kind of really getting to know our community is using us as a model. We have a lot of campaigns where you call our office and get a free CD, get free articles, free things. Many of you in your cash machine plan, you're going to give something for free to get people interested in the thing you do. So part of this is modeling and showing you how to do things like that. Many of you on this call, you actually got the cash machine book for free from us. And now you're getting 8 more weeks for free. Because what I know of the 4,000 people is that over 400 of you, I bet over 10% of you will want to work with me directly in my mentoring program called the Olympic Table. So obviously there's some upside, to kind of you guys selecting yourselves through the process and working with me on the call. I call it like, and you'll hear me say this in the marketing chapters we get into it. It's sort of like dating. You get to know me, I get to know you. You get, you say, I want to work more, I want to do more. And then I would bet that another 10% of you want to work with our millionaire coaches in our wealth acceleration program. So absolutely, I'm not going to hide or deny, because I think you guys should never hide or deny the fact that you are doing things in your work because you love them and you want some business. So let's just take a catering, for example, that stay-home chefs. One of the ideas I told her, I said, you need to go down to some of these fairs, because there's a lot of fairs around the Lake Tahoe area. I said, you need to go down to the fairs and you need to do free samples of your cooking and offer it up. And she looked at me, she said, but that costs a lot. I said, yeah, but look at the business you're going to get. Some of you are going to need to do some free tutoring samples. Some of you might want to tape yourself. Actually, there's a better idea. Tape yourself during a tutoring session, clip several of them together so the parent can hear how you work with their children. And you're going to need to give those CDs away for free. So part of what I'm doing is I'm modeling, like, this is a way that you're going to work with your cash machine audiences as well. You're going to give them an application of what you do. Just, and I want you to make money. I need you to be successful. So you say, well, why do you need me to be successful? Or because I want you to then tell everyone else in the world, hey, you need to read this book. It works. I did it. I've been in this program. Now, here's another thing, and we're going to get this up on the website. It's not up, but I thought of it this morning. I just did a radio tour in 29 cities across the country. Sorry for the world, but in 29 cities. Every one of those cities, we're going to post on a website for you to apply, because every one of those 29 cities during week 4 to 6 would like you, get this is free marketing at its best. They said, Loral, come back. They kind of laughed. They said, you're going to read the book with a bunch of people for 8 weeks? What a funny little concept. I said, funny, it's brilliant. And I said, and guess what? Detroit, Cincinnati, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, New York, Boston, San Francisco, Seattle, Portland. I mean, those are cities I just remember very quickly on my radio tour. Every one of those cities wants us to come back. Me and you, meaning you are going to be picked out of your city. I'm going to pick several people in each of these cities where the radio DJs are going to bring us back together, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing in the reading room, and you're going to talk about the success you're having. You say, well, why would I want to do that? Free marketing. Are you kidding? These are huge, huge radio shows in your local area where we're going to give you free exposure. So we are going to be posting where these radio tours are going to be, because we're going to go back out to all these cities and say, not only did we talk about the Cash Machine book, a couple weeks ago, but now we're well into getting people all over America, all over the world, thousands of people making money. So you've got to keep going to our link, because we're going to have radio tour cities. We're going to have game cities where we're going to play in the games at Barnes & Noble. We truly want to activate all of you on this call as true cash machine owners in your city and help you get some free press through playing the game at the local Barnes & Noble store, through going on radio shows. I mean, we're going to include you in our success, so your success can be just a huge part of it. So excited. That means these action plans, next slide, 7 weeks to sales, you have got to play along. This isn't just, like I said, a theoretical exercise. We have to identify your skills. We need to have you get your business idea by next week. Business model, you've got to find the business model that you're going to model. You cannot reinvent the wheel. You need the revenue model by week 4, and then we are starting to ask for cash. So in 4 weeks from now, I need you to mark your calendar and make a huge note. I am asking for money no later than week 4. Like that day of your life, you start saying, I need some money. Customers, where are you? By week 5, your total plan will be in place. We'll have your team, marketing and sales. The truth is, I'm going to be bringing up marketing probably to about week 5 in our call time. So this is how the book laid it out. We're bringing call time way up because we need you asking for money in week 4, no later. So truly go to that action on the side, go to your calendar and say, by week 4, I'm going to have so much of this ready. I'm going to be asking for money. I'm going to be getting some money in the door. I think all of you on this call, no less, could easily make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. In fact, I told all those radio DJs that I would bet most of you on the call can move anywhere between $1,000 and $3,000 during our time together if you do the work. All right? So again, as we kind of summarize, Chapter 1 was really about identifying yourself with the Marilyns, the Roses, or the Owls of the world, starting to look at building it, buying. You have to decide if you're going to build, buy, or fix it yet, or partner. You need to look at the planning processes that we're going to take you through, and now to set to Chapter 2, which is skills. You have got to get your skill sets identified. So we give you the link right there. We have over 1,000 cash machine ideas that are linked to a skill set. All of you have it. As you go to the next slide, there's a skill set analyzer. I want you to really go through this in detail. What is the skill set that you have? You say, well, I don't have a skill set. Yes, you do. List the responsibilities at your job. List specific tasks associated. Other tasks that you do that you're responsible for or may not be responsible for, but because people know you're good at it, you end up doing it. List the industries and markets that you've actually worked in. You might be a lawyer now, but what did you do in college to get through? I mean, did you work in the restaurant industry? Did you work in the veterinarian industry? Where did you work? What tasks do you do at home that you're really good at? Excuse me, what activities do you find yourself doing in your free time or hobbies? What tasks do others? If somebody was going to say, this is what Fred's good at, what would somebody say about you? go ask an interview. This is this week's homework. You cannot delay. We need this done because we need to have the idea of your cash machine identified. So put July 19th on your calendar. I will have identified and committed to a cash machine to work on so you can actually make money during our 8 weeks together. And then by, let's see, that's 1, 2, I'm going to actually give you the date. The 9th of August is your money-making day. August 9th. What a great day. You are going to bring money into your doors, into your bank accounts. So you need to be thinking about getting incorporated or getting your bank accounts open. Where's this money going to go? Because a lot of you are going to be making money, and it cannot go to your personal account. This isn't a personal cash machine. This is a family cash machine. This is your life cash machine. You're going to make money for the rest of your life generationally. Never will your generations of your name ever have to live in poverty or worry about financial stress. I mean, I truly believe it only takes one in a family to change the way they think and have a relationship with money and create new money and become more entrepreneurial. Excuse me. And it's only going to take, like I said, it's only going to take one of you to commit. Next slide. Next for you, a makeover. Again, 3 of you are going to win live makeovers during this 8 weeks. So you have got to get to a strategist. Call our office, 8777-GET-LOL. Talk to a strategist. Say you're interested in being a makeover candidate. Or email strategy@liveoutloud. We will be picking these 3 over the next few weeks. Now, this time I'm going to give you our word. Our word, because again, all these words are going to let me know that you've actually listened, because by now we are nearly to our hour. It's called Graceful Profit. Graceful Profit is week 1's word. And again, you want to accumulate these words, because at the end, all of you that know the words will be given a little survey. And as long as you know all the words, your name will be put in a hat to be drawn for over $50,000 worth of prizes. But if you don't have all the words, your name won't be put in the hat to be drawn for for the big prizes, like the big table. We're going to give away some cash machine workshops that are going to be in Washington, D.C. We're going to give away a bunch of prizes, but you have to have listened and heard our call and know the word of the day is graceful profit. Okay? Chapter 2 is really, it's simple. If there's questions out there, Dawn, let's go to some questions, because it's really skills. You've got to identify them. The analyzer is designed completely to help you get that done. Any questions out there on that?
Yes, Laurel, we've got a lot of questions. In fact, it's always interesting. There's always a steady stream, and then from time to time we see quite a spike when you were talking about the shrinking versus the expanding thinking. And when you said reduce your life, are you kidding? We really got quite a flow of additional questions. Jennifer says it quite well. She says, I find I think about what I want, but seem to stay stuck in those thoughts. How does one get the courage to go for it? People, meaning my family members, are counting on my regular paycheck.
Of course they are, because they don't know that there's anything else to count on. I mean, I'm just going to say it that simple. You have conditioned them that your paycheck and your job, and many of you men, I've got to go there, is, I got to bring home the bacon. I mean, come on. What is that? Come on. You have conditioned them that way, and you're the one that has to recondition them, that you can bring home entrepreneurial cash machine money just as certain and sustainable as you can bring home with that money. Now, they may not trust you, they may not support you, but you have to do the work. So you today, by next week, have got to pick your skill set and your business idea. And I would promise you in the next 8 weeks that as you make money and bring it home, and then it starts getting more sustainable and more regular, and you recondition your family that money is what we're going to rely on as a family for the rest of our lives and generations. I mean, it's just a reconditioning activity, and it's a certainty activity on your side, because you have to become an entrepreneur. And I could promise you, I mean, if you look at wealthy families, you think, well, how do the Rockefellers do it? How does let's be honest, the Bush family is part of that whole dynamic. How does the Kennedy family? That's what they did. They don't go get jobs. They don't condition their families to get jobs, right? They continue entrepreneurial ventures, expansive creative deal making. I can guarantee you Trump sent his kids to college, but they sure aren't going to go get a job. I mean, it's a conditioning activity, and you have to be the one to recondition them. It's hysterical to me when I hear a client of mine say to me, well, Lord, you just don't understand. I mean, or an employee, has said this to me before too. Well, you just don't understand. I mean, you want me to go, and Don, you live in those departments. You want me to go full cushion? I mean, I'm putting it all on the line. So what do you think I do every day? Those of you who become entrepreneurs, you're going to put it on the line every day. And here's the words, and this comes from my first book. Your action, write these 4 words down. Your action is going to create an experience. Now, some of these experiences are going to be very exciting, and some of them are going to be scary. Some of them are going to make you throw up. Some of them you won't sleep at night. Who cares? That's just part of the experience of getting all this frightened DNA out of your system. I mean, some of you just need to go, do some big workouts and sweat all that fear out. I mean, the certainty is inside of you. You just haven't allowed it to come forward. So again, action is going to create an experience. Experience is going to create a result, right? Some sort of, evidence is a result. And that evidence will create certainty. So it may take you a few months. It took me several months. I mean, but let's be honest. I mean, because you'll have a month where your cash machine will do really well, and the next month it won't. And then it'll do okay, and then we'll do great, and then it'll be back to hardly anything. So over a few months, you'll be sorting out the balance and the sustainability of it. And once you see that evidence of consistent checks coming in the door, the certainty and courage of what you have to continue will just thrive. But you have to start. You have to start. I mean, a little bit of money is better than no money. You have to start. You have to begin. Do not battle for everybody to stand next to you and be courageous with you. They won't. You're the one on the call. You're the one on this program. You're the one that wants to make it happen. Do not convince everybody side by side to make it happen. They don't want to. If they did, they would. They don't want to. So don't convince them. It's a waste of your time and energy. Get on this call and get organized around, people who really want to make stuff happen. Okay, another question, Don.
Yeah, a couple more questions quickly. I already have a cash machine. I'd like to start to franchise it. Can you help with that?
Absolutely. We have, and over the course of our 8 weeks, we're not going to give you all the resources at once, but we do have teams who will help you get incorporated, who will help you with the tax and the business licensing and the bookkeeping. We have teams who will help you decide if and what franchise is the best for you, and you will be meeting those teams as we move along.
Yes, we do have team, don't we, Loral? Another great question here from Stan. Is it okay to do more than one cash machine if you already have one going and it's making pretty good money? He's making about $75,000 a year doing contract grant writing. That's from Stan.
So
Stan, he adds, or should I wait until it's making more money?
Yes, wait till you make at least 100, 120, 150. In fact, I would really grow it. Contract grant, I mean, you have $1 million idea. So the problem is if you go off and do a second one before one's mature enough, then that one will end up wobbling a little bit without your leadership. So I would grow it up more and then bring in a teammate to manage and take care of it and keep it growing and sustaining, then go do another one. There's also a thing we're going to talk about in the next few weeks called additive revenue. As you do more additive things, you can keep the main. Like Live Out Loud is my core cash machine. It is my core thing that I do. When I added the Millionaire Maker game, for example, that was an additive thing. A different team does that. I don't have a lot of time being distracted or, having to run that. I have a different team running that. I give creative ideas. I give, obviously, our reputation and our, database to it. But it's an additive revenue to me. It's not the core. For those of you who have, so for writing, for example, you may want to be additive and add a whole web-based writing service, a sales copy service. I can tell you we have 4,000 entrepreneurs on these phone calls who need cash machines, who need writers. So I grow it up before I go get diversified. Do another question.
Another quick question from Daniel. He says, I'm really happy in my job, and he says it is a W-2. Do I really have to quit my job to start and run a cash machine?
Absolutely not. Those of you who want to keep your jobs, keep them and go do a cash machine. And what I can tell you is that as your cash machines grow and you make more money and you hit that six-figure mark, then you will start re-looking at the job. But for now, just call it what it is. You're going to keep your job and you're going to do this. Go out and get a partner. Get your life support time, back so you can actually focus on this. Many of you can keep your jobs and make an extra $50,000 quite simply. $208 a day is not a lot of extra money.
I have tried several small businesses, and they failed because I don't like to sell or market. How can I overcome this? That's Dan and Jane.
Okay, so Dan and Jane, you are on the right call because I am a marketing and sales master. Love it. I think it's one of the funnest things to do. Like, what else would you do? Marketing sales is so much fun. So we're going to teach you a lot about that and hopefully turn on that creative juice. I think all of you have it in you. No one's just framed it in a way that I'm going to frame it to make it fun and exciting. I think there's too many formal sales processes that honestly are exhausting. So we're going to make it fun and exciting. And at the end of the day, if it still isn't your thing, then you're going to go partner. You're going to find a marketing sales group. In fact, we're going to introduce you in several weeks to a team that I work very closely with called Market Out Loud, and they can do the work for you. They do the work for a lot of people in our community. They do the marketing process, they do the sales process, and they actually handle that as one of your partners and get it done. So if you go to the next slide, I need you to get to the first two books. There's a couple activities I want to summarize. I need you to buy the first two books, and this is just a ridiculous low price, $34.95. You can go to the liveoutloud.com/reading room, get the books. In order, please get Cash Machine done first. That is always your priority book in this workshop and our webinar together. Then the Millionaire Maker, then the investing book, because we are not even going to focus on investing at all in these 8 weeks. So please get those books, have that handled. Number 2, talk to a strategist. That's the only way you qualify to be one of the 3 people in the makeover. Gather up and keep in a very protected area the 8 words that are going to come over the 8 weeks, so you can qualify to win a whole bunch of prizes that will be drawn at the end during our 8-week call. We'll be doing that drawing. Keep your shrinking thoughts and your expanding thoughts, so we keep that tracked. Identify and commit to your skill sets and your idea for your cash machine. So you have much to do. Many of you are probably thinking, oh my gosh, like this is kind of a whole course that I'm taking. Like I thought I was just going to like listen in and chat. Well, for those of you who listen in and chat, it'll be interesting. For those of you who get committed to making some cash, we're going to make some money together. I'm absolutely committed to having you win in these next 8 weeks. At the end of September, which is 1 month after we're together and complete our 8 weeks, we're doing a 3-day workshop. I want you to be in Washington. I want you to have such a supercharge so when you walk in that door. Now, some of you may be saying, well, if I'm getting it all done here, why would I go there? Well, because we're going to have 300 or 400 people that can actually be your customers. And if you, as you learn, getting a customer is going to cost you anywhere on the low side, $50 to $150 is the cost of a new acquired client. Oh, for a very, very reasonable, and you know I'm going to give you a discount through this program, to be in a room with 400 people that are potential clients of yours, oh, come on, we're all going to see you there. So let's see, am I missing any homework? I got to look at all my notes. I had so many things to review with you. I think I got it. So chapters 1, chapters 2 are really the overview. It's getting the skill sets. Chapters 3 we're going to really focus on is we got to get your business idea and that model company done next week. So read the chapters, get really engaged, like spend at least an hour a day, even if it's just thinking while you're driving. Spend an hour a day on your cash machine. We've got to get this embedded in your life. This isn't just an extra activity. If it's just an extra activity, it might be some extra revenue. If you make it priority, you're going to get some priority money in the door.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.